Good morning. All right. Welcome. How we doing? Welcome back. Happy CPI day. Finally. Hopefully you moved today, man. My goodness. Margin, Nomitz, Luis, Aiden, Pilot, Ponzi, Darth. Morning, guys. Closer, good morning. David, SPX, Bob, Alex, Pump. Yeah, MU's on a tear, Pump. MU's on a tear. Morning, Chef. Chaos. I'm assuming that's chaos. I finally figured it out. El Checo. How do you like the quote today? We're going to get a new quote every day, every morning. How do we like it? Fear kills more dreams than failure. Morning, guys. Welcome back. What's up, Margin? Look at this. We got an NVIDIA username. Love it. Love it. Morning, everyone. Welcome back. So today is CPI. Today is definitely an important economic day. We got CPI at 8:30. We got crude oil inventories at 10:30. We got the 10-year bond auction at 1. And we have the federal budget balance at 2. So definitely a day for potentially a catalyst on this market, which has been very slow and, grinding higher, but it's just extremely choppy on the intraday. Tomorrow, PPI, unemployment claims, another opportunity for maybe some kind of action, and then finally on Friday. So really hopeful that over the next 3 days we get some kind of direction on this market, whether it's up, whether it's down, hopefully some kind of a trend. It's been nice to the upside. There's been some nice opportunities. Definitely dropped the ball on Tesla this week. That was just a fantastic opportunity. So that one's haunting me just a little bit. But hey, we got the shares. Great comeback. Did sort of what we expected. We talked about there's going to be a resolution to the panic of Trump and Elon, and I think you pretty much have seen that already. So that was very quicker than I expected, but it did happen. So congrats to those that held strong. Closer, appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the coffee fund today. Earnings. How'd GameStop do? I didn't even look at it. We can look at it. GameStop, Hooker, and Lovesac. Don't forget about that on Thursday. And arguably my favorite company in the world, Restoration Hardware. But that's really it. There's really nothing else to it. It's just CPI today at 8:30. We'll see what the reaction is. We'll see what the levels do. Some nice trades. Yeah, there were some nice trades on NASDAQ. There was both nice longs and shorts on NQ yesterday off of our exact levels, which we can jump into tomorrow or jump into today. Also, Tesla above that 312 was awesome. That was perfect. Beautiful 100, 200 SMA holds there. So some nice individual equity plays. It's just hard to get confidence on these plays when you're not getting market movement. That's the hard part for me lately. That's what I've been struggling with is how aggressive do I get on an individual equity if I'm just not seeing the market getting aggressive as well. So Tesla, a little bit of an outlier move because of its individual movement, and its comeback is, very clear to understand, but everything else sort of lackluster. Hopefully today. Oh, we just got a big pop there, huh? Pop and drop. CPI released. CPI leakage. All right, let's jump right in. Let's get over there. All right. Let's get over here because things are moving. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. It looks like we're getting some action on the futures here. Let's take a look. So, NASDAQ futures, let's start there. The key thing that I see on the NASDAQ futures today is that we're holding above Friday's highs. That's really the key point that I'm going to be watching today. So if we look at this NASDAQ futures, man, it's just getting totally thrown around, pinballed in between these levels. That is crazy. Look at this pinball machine between these levels, man. Just boing, 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 boing. I mean, crazy. This is really what I think you should be watching today. So this is the Friday highs of 21,870. And that turned into a very, very nice hold here in the pre-market session, after our session, around this 21,870 area. This is the high from Friday. This is the high from Monday. That is now trying to turn into a support low. So that is going to be key. If we can maintain this low here, then I believe you can continue this move higher. Now, if you fail this low, then you will start to see, I believe, some slippage. And that is possibly, we're probably going to need to wait for the catalyst on CPI. So it looks like to me this 870 level is important as of now. Breaking that likely brings you back to the Friday lows. I'm not sure why I have that marked as Friday lows. That must have been a previous Friday. I'm going to mark that as, I'll just leave it as a major demand. Let me make sure it's sort of like the Wednesday high there. Do I have that on a previous Friday low, or did I just drag a certain line over? I think I might have just dragged a different line. It's really this Wednesday high is really the 21,800 level. So let me just make that change real quick. I think I just copied a different line and had that label stay the same. So we can see here, all right, if we go back to this chart, this Wednesday high, right around here at 21.8, has been a influential spot over the last few trading days. A little bit messy, right? This entire thing is messy. This is why it's been difficult to trade this market with confidence, because this is just very messy, right? This whole thing, it's not perfect, stair-stepping upside movement. It's definitely messier than you would desire. The only clean thing I can see at the moment is right here. 21,870. Now that's clean, right? You have this, here, and right there. So that's a pretty clean flip at the moment. If you hold that, then I think you can stay higher. You break that, you go to 800. You break that, you go to the previous day lows of the 722. Yesterday, the NASDAQ pulling back and holding aggressively at the Friday lows, which is very, very strong, right? You can see yesterday in the pre-market, even in the intraday, you have this sort of panic downside just getting absolutely bought up again at our 720 lows. Right here, huge buying off that low again yesterday intraday. So those are those are the three levels that I'm going to watch to the downside. I'm going to watch the 870, I'm going to watch the 800, and I'm definitely going to be watching that 722. I want to see what happens if we get pullbacks into those zones. Now, yesterday, we finally hit our exact target. We had our target at 22,000. We've had this target for like 2 weeks now, and we basically just tapped it and failed into close. We tapped it into the end, like sort of 3 o'clock, failed it. We went back into it in the future session, failed it. All right, so that 22,000 is absolutely the level to break here. We can clearly see that even in this pre-market, 22,000, 21,870, just pinballing between those two levels. So you'd really like to get the market to break out of this channel here today for some continuation to a certain direction. All right, you'd like to get maybe a hold over this 22,000, 22,025 for a push into 22,120. or you're looking for a fail under the Friday high, for a move into the Wednesday's highs, and possibly a move into yesterday's lows, if we can maybe get some continuation to actually come into this market. The hard part is, as you move lower, you're going to have to be careful of these types of moves, right? Which has been very resemblant of this market, right? You see this and you're like, oh, here we go, bam, straight back up. You see this, you say, oh, here we go, bam, straight back up, right? So that is still like a very concerning thing to be aware of if you're trying to short this market, which just does not seem to want to go down. The bids just keep stacking up at these levels, and every time you get a little bit of downside, you just get bids, just holding this thing right back up. So that makes it very difficult to short with confidence, right? How are we going to spot if this is the time it actually flows lower, or you just get smacked again trying to short into these demand lows? I just have stayed away from that trade entirely, and maybe that will lead to me missing out on the next short, but for now, it just does not seem to be a trade that you want to be a part of at the moment. I think to really break down this sort of whole move, I think it's pretty clear that it's right here at this 720 area. I think that's where this breaks down, right? Because we can see over the last 3 trading days, here, and even here, look at the lows of those last 3 trading days, right? The last 3 trading days on Friday, on Monday, and yesterday all stepped up at the same low, right? Right here, and right here. So you do have a very clear sort of failure point, I think, under 722, 720 area. You break under that, I think you could then say, hey, we have maybe started to see a flip in momentum, and you might start to actually get this to trend lower rather than some kind of spark lower that gets just bid up, right? I think under this 720, under the previous day lows, as well as the Friday lows, I think that's where you can say bearish flip, right? So what you could do is you could put this on your charts, right? And you can say, bearish flip, something like that, just so that hey, if we break this level, I think we're probably going to see, some weakness step in, and I need to be prepared for that. Agnes, appreciate that. So that's sort of what I'm watching there. Obviously, you've just been floating higher. CPI in about 18 minutes is going to tell us what happens here. We need to break these highs for anything to truly happen. For now, it's still just pinned. ES, we finally got our target, right? Our target on this market has been 60.50. And you can see that 60.50 was tapped yesterday and tapped here in the morning. So 60.50, this has been on our charts for like 2 weeks now. We finally get to our target of 60.50, which is also, I think, around that gamma wall on the SPX, which is at 60.50 as well. And you held the 6,000. So shout out Case for that one. So yeah, 60.50 is absolutely the spot to be watching on the upside. You get a hold above that today, I think it's pretty clear that you're going to continue higher. I have a 60.75 level above. If you break below this Friday high, which is right here, this 60.20, I think that's where you could get a little bit of weakness to step in, right? So actually, there's another level below that you need to watch. It's the 6,008, which has been just a rock star of a level. So if you guys remember, on Monday, if you traded with me, we traded long off 6,008 for this push right here. This was a very important level that stepped up on Monday, that stepped up here, that stepped up in the after hours. And you can see yesterday, just an insane hold of 6,008 once again, just straight off that level on the intraday. Just even right when it smelt it, it said, nope, I'm going straight back up, right there. 6,008, 6,005 area. So that is going to be a very difficult level, in my opinion, to be trying to short into today. I would be very careful shorting into 6,008, 6,005. You can see right here on the 15-minute, you have these highs here, you have these lows here, you have these lows here. So if you get that push down into this level, I would be very cautious of, again, buyers stepping up at this major spot. Okay, so make sure you watch out for that. If you break that, you will slip slightly lower into, I think, the level that must hold, and that is the lows from Friday and the lows from yesterday, which is right here around 59.85, 59.90. Breaking that, I think, would be your bearish flip. That would bring you into this gap fill from that data on Friday of last week and probably start to weaken you towards that daily 20 SMA. But there are so many landmines to the downside. There are so many landmines here, right? Just these are landmines to me. Like, you think you're going to get some continuation? Landmine. You think you're going to get some continuation? Landmine. And it's just all sitting down here, and you really need to be looking to the left. You really need to be looking to the left on a higher time frame because there are so many spots to be cautious of. 60.20 is absolutely the first one. Under that, you got our 6,008. And then under that, you got our 59.90, 59.85. Got to be careful shorting through basically this entire zone right here. All right. If you can break under this zone at 59.85, if you can break under these lows, if we break below that, then I think you can actually see some continuation to come in. For now, 60.50, clearly the high, clearly the level that needs to break. SPY. So you guys can see SPY here. The 603 level has been very strong. It looks like it's anywhere between 603 and 604. So I would probably be a little bit careful between that entire zone here today. That looks to be sort of heavy. And on the downside, you are holding above the 601, which was previous major rejections, right? We had major rejections at 601, 601 rejections, 601 rejections, 601 rejections, which now yesterday turned into holds and holds, right? So that's important. You have 601 fails that have turned into lows, 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 lows. So that's an inflection point, 601. You break under 601, then you see some further downside into the 599.50s, right into this 595, really like, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's right in that 599, 599.50 area, all right? You can see those lows that sort of stepped up over the last few days. Yesterday's lows were exactly, if you want to be really precise with it, were exactly like, 599 sort of on the dot there, right? You can see right there the yesterday low, that wick low came in around 599, 599. So obviously be careful into that. If you break that, I would say this 598 could get a little bit dancy, but truly under 599, you can see right here, failing under this high, right here, 599, 599, 599, failing that likely gives you, some interesting downside opportunity towards that Friday low at 597. So you can see this is sort of where we've been holding, right? We've been holding this high as lows, as lows, as lows. So if you flip back under this low, then I would say things start to sort of unravel a little bit. If you break under that 599, you'd probably unravel towards 597 and possibly back towards this gap at 595. That could be a short to watch today. But I would be careful of shorting into the 599 just because you could get one of these again, similar to what you saw yesterday, right? If you shorted into 599 yesterday, then it wasn't really a great morning for you, right? If you saw this drop yesterday and you started shorting into 599, well, yeah, not great. So be careful there. That's definitely a nasty little spot right there to be cautious of. And the 601. So 599, 601. And then, of course, over 604, 603 is going to be needed. QQQ. Man, it's just like the way this is grinding higher is just miserable. Look at this. Look at these hourly candles. Look at the wicks. It's just not as fluid as it was, man. It's definitely not. It's just not as great. Hopefully we get out of this period. Hopefully. I mean, we will, but it's about who survives. It's really about survival at the moment. This looks like the channel to me. these highs, and these lows at 532, right? So we can see this right here. 532, highs, lows. You break 532, you go down to like the, well, yesterday, that low was pretty deep. I'd say the next level would be 530.50. And then you break that, you're down into this 528 Friday low right here. Now, if you look at the Qs, I think this is technically the channel, right? Like that's your larger channel, right? That's your lows from yesterday. That's your lows from Friday. So you do need to be careful of any short in this area here. I would say, again, the sort of bearish flip would be under 528. That would be my bearish flip. Under 528. That would equal under right here, 21,720. Right? You can see how those equal up. So under that and under this, I think you can actually see downside on this market. Without that, I think anything here is still pullback long territory. Right? You could pull back to the this Tuesday, this low from yesterday, bounce. You could pull back to the 532, bounce, and you could even see a bounce off the 528 right here and right here. You break that, I think that's where it gets a little bit more interesting for the downside. Okay, hopefully that gives you a good read for now. Of course, CPI is going to change things up, so we won't go too deep for now. IWM 200 SMA, absolutely a big spot. IWM 200 SMA, which we've been talking about, to be careful up into 216. I would say the right next move on the IWM, unless we just get a squeeze today, a pullback long at 210 would really be what I'd watch. And then the Dow Jones is still just sitting right under our 43K. It literally has not moved for weeks. Not weeks. You know what I mean, though. Has not moved for days. Like, here's your Dow Jones over the last 3 days. So, sort of as expected, right? With CPI approaching, we sort of expected that the Monday, Tuesday of the week is going to be pretty shit, and that's sort of what happened. So, as expected, really. Really no surprises. SMH has been on an absolute tear with some beautiful price action, right? Here's what I mean by the NASDAQ being dirty. Like, look at the difference here, right? Take a look at this NASDAQ. Take a look at this ES, right? See this dirtiness? See how dirty this is with wicks and just sort of manipulation, liquidity grabs everywhere. Just a lot of questionable things going on. Look at this, man. Look how nice and peaceful this boy has been. This is a beautiful, peaceful chart. How peaceful has this been? All right? Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Very nice, right? Clear high, clear high, clear low, clear low, clear high, clear high, clear low. Does it become a clear low again, right? Just a nice, beautiful chart. Nice and relaxing. Nice and relaxing, right? And then you compare that and you go over to this and it's like this thing's just on straight crack cocaine. It's like, hate it. I hate it. It's tough. It's tough. It is. I mean, I haven't had a great start to my month. Possibly even going to put this close to maybe going break even for the month, depending on what today looks like. So it's just not been a hot start to like get like anything major. But that's the truth, man. That's trading. So, all right. We got 7 minutes till CPI. Let's take a quick peek at Tesla because this is a fumble. This was absolutely perfect and should have been more trustworthy in my good old Teslita. But I just, I lost some confidence to take the trades here. Don't know why, probably because of the overall market. But yesterday we talked about the 312 hold, right? And the hold above the 100 and 200 SMA. And it was just absolutely perfect. I mean, it was from the open. You saw a little bit of a fake out, right? You saw this little break under that got quickly bought up, right here. You see this 312, little fake out here, little trap buyer session, right? Little alfalfa, back over 312. And then from that point forward, 312 steps up huge. And that was really it, right? So that was beautiful yesterday on Tesla. Congratulations, guys, if you used the levels here and made some money on this one. Absolutely perfect. 312, perfect holds. Nice continuation. Nice movement yesterday on Tesla. And then even today, look at the 324 hold. Look at this squeeze off 324. Incredible. You are right back up into the 336 and the daily 20 SMA. So I would say if you break over this daily 20 and this 336 level, there is definitely more to be had here in this low volume area right here. I would say your next move is to 350, right? So if I see this, then I'm going to still try to get a piece of this move, right? Over 336 into 350 is absolutely still possible here. There's still plenty of meat on this bone if we get above this daily 20. So don't be down and out if you missed the lows on this move. This was really the first trade I thought was valid, right? Taking entries down here was, I think, very questionable, right? This is sort of your questionable move. But right here, yesterday was the first clear trade on Tesla. Break above previous highs, right? Hold above those previous highs, and then rocket in continuation. So this was A+ yesterday, right here. This was your A+ entry over 312, over the daily 200. That's a beautiful trade. Down here, questionable. Here, A+. Today, I think you could say that this is a very good opportunity today over the daily 20 and over 336, if you can see it. I would also just make sure you recognize that this is on a pretty aggressive gap up. So, what would I be more comfortable in seeing? Probably a pullback to 324, right? And then maybe looking for it again off that level. So what's the better trade here, and what's the more confident trade? Probably a 334 retest and buyer stepping up at that key level versus a chase and a gap and go type of trade over 335, right? So that's the problem with the long over 336 today. 336 in the daily 20 is that technically you're on a major gap and go move, which can get a little bit tricky at times. What would be better? Fill the gap back to 324, buyer step up, then look to re-long off 324, right? That would be a little bit more confidence inspiring. And even, right, if you get a pullback to the 312, again, another interesting opportunity again. So obviously pullbacks are always ideal on Tesla to be long because you're actually buying at a major support area rather than sort of chasing this thing today over 336. We'll see what the data gives us. We'll see what it provides. Okay. All right, so we got 2 minutes here. If you guys could, please take a second, press the like button. 3,000 people, 800 likes. Ratio's off today. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go to the ES. Let's get, 1 second here. CPI. Actually, I'm not going to go to the CPI year-over-year website because it just totally, for some reason, just freezes my computer. So I'm just going to let Hamish show us the way. Let's let Hamish show us the way here today. Alrighty. Tesla, Nvidia, we'll go over that. We'll go over the Bitcoin move if we get a move there. We'll go over MSTR today. Apple. ARM's been sick. Meta's on a pending breakout if we get something there. All right. 30 seconds. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Holy shit. What the hell? Is that a legit candle? Okay, we tapped. So hold on. Hold on here, folks. We just tapped 75. Hold on. That's a little bit sketchy. What's the numbers? Okay, so it's down year over year. Lower than expectations. Wow, month over month is down 2 basis points. Is my Bitcoin trade going to play out? Maybe. Maybe. We shall see. Okay. So you just tapped a major high. I'm sure Tesla's just absolutely ripping. I don't even want to look at it. I don't even want to look at Tesla right now, man. I'm pretty upset about Tesla. I'm going to be honest. Man. Tesla was a gimme. It was a layover. It was a layup. I mean, lay down is what you call it, like in the car dealership world. Just a lay down. It really was. I'm really upset with myself. I mean, I think most of you would probably understand. I mean, this was just a lay down. 312, perfect level, above the 200 and 100. Why did I not long that? Ah, man. You guys get to see the true, the things that go through people's mind from me. I know, some people won't talk to you about this stuff online. They'll just hide it. Be like, oh, I'm the fucking best. No, man. Totally screwed up the Tesla opportunity. Once you saw Tesla go down like this, you knew there was going to be something back. Stupid. Hey, there's going to be plenty more opportunities out there, but that one, congratulations, guys, if you caught that. MSTR, yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, I want to see this hold up. Do I like the setup? Yeah, I do. I would like maybe a little bit more here to really trust it. All right. All right, let's see. I mean, a good pop for now. Numbers are good, so that's quality, right? The numbers are good, so that's good for now. Let's see. All right, let's see. Let's get these levels set up. So now it's pretty damn clear that you need to hold over 22K, guys. I mean, that's, you break back under 22K here, that's coming right back down. So make sure you know that today. This has to hold 22K. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So on any pullback today, you need to see these previous highs hold very strong. If you fail back under 22,000, you are going back down. Please make sure you know that. All right? If you fail back under this, you are going to see the failure come in. So you need to hold 22,000 today on the NASDAQ futures. Must. S&P 500 has to hold 60.50. Has to hold 60.50. You hold 60.50, then you can continue this move higher. Above 60.50, 60.75 was our spot. You can see exactly how that got tapped on the dot. So our 60.75 level is absolutely correct. Over 60.75 here, you are going to 61.13 right here. See this flip at 60.75? Over that, 61.13. Okay? So 60.75, 61.13 is your next spot. NASDAQ futures over 22,120 is sort of freedom, to be honest. Over 22,120, I'd say you probably go to this 200. And then above that, you're going 300. 200, 300, next spots. So you got 200 and 300 above as your next spots there. You need to hold over 200. Must. I'm sorry, you need to hold over 22,000 to go to 120, to go to 200, to go to 300. 22,000 must hold. QQQ must hold 535. Must. Can't lose that. You fail that, you're coming right back down. There's your 537 Q's level we had. This is almost Q's all-time highs, by the way. There's not much left here. 537. Above that, I'd say you're going to all-time highs. I'd say 540. Yeah, I'd say 540 if you get this move. Over 537, I think you're going 540. That's pretty much all-time highs there. SPY, gotta hold this 604, 603 zone. It's gonna be, it looks a little bit sloppy on the SPY here. What exactly is it? Yeah, I'd say it's more like exactly 603 at the minimum. 607 was our target. You can see I already had that level there. Look at how that got hit. 607. That was these previous highs right here, 607. Above 607, 610. 610. Yeah. Pullback longs in here, if you can get them. Pullback longs, 22,000, if you can get them. QQQ, pullback longs here, if you can get them. Not sure you will. And ES, pullback long 60-50, if you can get them. But you're rocking in here. Yeah, NVIDIA's rocketing through 145. Tesla, Can we get MSTR to pay me today? That's going to be the question mark. That's what I really want to see get paid today. But it's sort of lacking, so I'm not really in love with that. But we shall see. All right, so we went over Tesla. 336, must hold, must break. If you can get a hold above that, you get a continuation. NVIDIA, let's watch this today. So NVIDIA over 145, I'd say goes to 150. Over 145 here. Yeah, there's a couple landmines in the way. Actually, I'd say what's this high here? Like 147.50s. Yeah, that could be a little bit of a landmine there. I'd be watching that a little bit. 147.50. You are still rejecting that 145 spot, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So today, you definitely need to clear 145. If you get a pullback to 144, that's good. So look for the pullbacks to 144. Over 145, you should get free to 147.50. Okay. AMD has been awesome. 200 SMA is a little bit of a concern for me here. So I would say you're watching the 200 SMA today. I'm just going to put an alert there at 125. Broadcom, this looks like a fantastic opportunity now. I would absolutely be watching this today. Broadcom pulled exactly back to our 243 and our daily 20 SMA. This is a beautiful pullback opportunity. Comfort, I know you're here. I like your trade, Comfort. I know you're in this one. I would definitely watch Broadcom off the daily 20 today. TSM, just been an absolute rope. Look at this thing. Rope. That's a rope. TSM looks like it's going back to this. I mean, to me, 215. If you're over 215, I'd say you're going 220, 250. Yeah, right here, right here. Watch 215 TSM. APP is definitely a watch today, 100%. Look at this thing. Previous highs, look at these lows being developed. Look at this break and retest. Look at this consolidation at the daily 20. That's definitely a watch, 100%. If markets can stay strong, that is definitely the spot you're looking at. 375, daily 20, little alfalfa into that area yesterday. I would definitely watch that. You can get maybe like this trend break to really start to develop, targeting back towards the 427 highs off a 4-hour break and retest. 100%. Definitely a watch. Okay, Meta got our breakout over to 703 finally. This would be probably my top watch today. Meta has been consolidating like a monster over the last 3 trading days. This is the first breakout. If this holds above these highs, you absolutely get something here. 100% watch. 703, high, 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 high. Consolidation leading to expansion. Break and retest 703. You hold that, I would say you're going to all-time highs, really. Personally, I'd say you're going at, minimum 720s. Like right there is 715, 720. Next, you got space here. So definitely watching Meta today. That's for sure a watch. Would like a pullback and hold here, though. The last thing you want to do is chase this. This pulls back and doesn't hold. Then you're screwed. All right? That's what you don't want today. So if you want to get this to confirm that it's trying to hold. If you long this here and this pulls back and doesn't hold, then you're really taking an L. So I would want to get these pullbacks, right? Again, ES, pullback to 60.50. There's your 75 hit. NASDAQ, there's your 22,120 hit. Pullback to 22,000. SPY, there's your 607 hit. Pullback to these key demands. QQQ, there's your 537. Maybe we pop that to 537.50, right? And you probably want to pull back. So things to be aware of, right? SMH, big breakout over 263.50. I would say pullbacks would be proper now. $263.50 comes from these major previous highs. And then your next level is really like 267. Okay. Let's go to Palantir. Yep, big push, but 135 is still a question mark for me. I would still be careful at 135. This is definitely a big spot, so watch out for 135 on Palantir. Over 135, I'd probably look for it, so I'm going to set an alert there. Amazon, beautiful hold of 216. This has been our spot. Look at this hold of 216. Over 220, you get more. This has been an awesome trade, and I wish I had more confidence to hold this thing. We longed this thing back at this 20 SMA and just didn't have enough confidence. 220, over 220, I think you can get moving. Google, over 182.50. There's not much above. 182.50 towards like 185.50, I'd say. Look at these maintains right here. 179, nice little break and curl. Gotta break 182.50. So what I would do there is create an alert, get an alert over that level. MSTR. So this is a watch that I have, guys, and this is a trade that I'm, currently sort of in some drawdown on, but I do like the idea. I see MSTR on a little bit of a break and retest here. So if you take a look at this chart on the 4-hour chart, you can see that MSTR has some previous major highs, previous major high that we had a nice break and retest hold off of, right? So you're creating a higher low right here at previous highs and at previous highs. So I really like that. I like the flag pattern that's forming right on this little pullback long, also off the daily 20 SMA. So there's a lot of confluence here to make me think that this is going to continue higher. If I look at the weekly chart, I can also take a look at this on the weekly chart. Look at this weekly chart on MSTR, right? Look at that. You have a very clear major high, right, on the weekly that is turning into new lows on a little break and weekly chart retest, which is incredible, right? And if we can see strength on this market, I really think you're going to get a move into like 440. So this is a big watch for me. I like this. And if we stay a risk on, I like Bitcoin to outperform. So continuing to watch this one, you can see major highs into lows, starting to establish this move higher. And then just yesterday, if I zoom out, you can see this 384 spot right here. rejection, support, break, retest. So, looking for this one to juice. We shall see. Buckcoin is also on a nice little flagging move here. You can see the Buckcoin is holding above this 109,000, sort of breaking, holding above it, looking to see if that expands. Obviously, we'll see what the NASDAQ does to see if it helps. But, yeah, man, we got to hold up. We got to hold up. We got to hold up. Pullbacks are definitely something to watch. CRWV starting to squeeze, yeah. 127's been great. Get that alert over 167 there. CrowdStrike has been a watch off that daily 20. What else? Netflix gave you a nice pullback yesterday. You could keep eyes on this. Look at this Netflix pullback to demand. Demand lows right here. Demand lows. Every Wednesday is the mentorship, guys. Every Wednesday. What else? Microsoft, how's that looking now? Microsoft's been trying to hold over previous all-time highs. Uber sort of failed the 87 level yesterday. Oh, let's look at MU for pump. MU. So pump. Here's what we're watching here. We gotta hold over 114, 111. If we can, I really think you're on something here. All right, take a look at this. Look at these major highs on MU here between 111 and 114. You had some major failure points here over the last year, basically. I mean, for a long time. Look at this holding above that level right now. If you hold above 111 to 114 here on MU, you're going, I mean, I would say you're easily going 121 and who knows, maybe even 130s again, right? Right here. So, yeah, definitely watch this. 111, 114, you can see here, this is the zone I want to see hold. If you can maintain within that zone, which you can see is holding perfectly above 114, I think you're going right here, 121. This is the zone that you want to see hold on pullbacks, though. If you get these pullbacks, look for this zone to maintain. All in here. Okay? All right, guys. So, let's review the game plan on the futures real quick. What do you want to look for today? You want to wait for a pullback long today. That would be ideal. Ideal situation would be pullbacks to around this 22,980, 22,000 area right here. If you can get a pullback and hold at that level, that would be fantastic. Upside supply is very clear at 22,100, 22,120. QQQ. Best trade would be a pullback to 535 if you can get it. Not sure you will. Upside supply 537.50. S&P 500. Clearly the 60-50 level is what you want to see this come back down to. If it holds, then I like your upside again. If this fails, not great. SPY 603 I think would be your spot. Anywhere between 603, 604. You want to see the market defend this area before you take this market long. If you take this market long too early and this fails back under, it's not going to be a pretty day, my friends. It's not going to be a pretty day. So, yeah, you got to see this defend. 60-50 on the ES. All right? All right, guys. If you guys like the live stream, please press that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more. Good luck out there today. Hopefully we get some juice. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning.